Ladies and gentlemen, stages rolling.
बेंगलुरु का आसमान आज इस बात की गवाही दे रहा है कि नई ऊंचाई नए भारत की सच्चाई है.
Prachand now is diving sharply.
The deafening roar of the engines of the mighty Sukhoi taking you for a rock and roll. Here he goes, spinning right in front of the day. और ये वो टीम लीडर का सल्यूट हमारे मुख्य अतिथि को.
The 14th edition of Asia's biggest air show is underway in Bangalore. We've just shown you some glimpses. The event will run for 5 days and showcase India as a manufacturing and development hub of aviation technology. Now think of it as a sort of bazaar for airplanes. Day one has featured aerobatics along with a trade fair and exhibition. India's homemade jets and helicopters made quite the impression today. Take a look.
Is doing a rudder turn right in front of us. Self-reliance in such strategic machine is unequivocal for India's defense, and products like Alleges, the light combat helicopter Prachand, the new baby light utility helicopter are part of Atmanirbhar success story of HA.
Now, the theme of this year's show is Runway to a Billion Opportunities. Around 809 companies from more than 90 countries are expected to participate in this air show. Put together, around 251 agreements worth some 75,000 crore rupees are expected to be signed. India will be looking to push its indigenous designs and production prowess. Prime Minister Modi, who inaugurated the event, gave the examples of Tejas and INS Vikrant. Now, both are state-of-the-art machines made right here in India. The Prime Minister says India isn't just a defense market anymore, it is becoming a seller. Listen in.
आप भी जानते हैं कि डिफेंस एक ऐसा क्षेत्र है जिसकी टेक्नोलॉजी को, जिसकी मार्केट को और जिसके बिजनेस को सबसे कॉम्प्लिकेटेड माना जाता है. इसके बावजूद भारत ने बीते 8-9 साल के भीतर अपने यहाँ डिफेंस सेक्टर का कायाकल्प कर दिया है. इसलिए हम इसे अभी केवल एक शुरुआत मानते हैं. हमारा लक्ष्य है कि 2024-25 तक हम एक्सपोर्ट के इस आंकड़े को $1.5 बिलियन से बढ़ाकर $5 बिलियन तक ले जाएंगे.
Now, since independence, India has been a buyer in the global defense market. We used to buy most of our weapons from the Soviet Union and then Russia. Recently, we have also started purchasing from France, Israel, and the US. But the ultimate goal is to become a defense producer, to make these weapons in India and export them abroad. The Aero India exhibition is held every 2 years with that goal in mind. But as always, politics is never behind in India, especially since 2023 is election year in Karnataka. Now, it is expected to be a tough contest for the ruling BJP. They have been beset with corruption charges. So, the Prime Minister is being accused of turning the air show into a campaign stump. The Congress says the Prime Minister will now inaugurate even water tanks since the election is closing in. Listen in to the reactions that have come in, especially from the Congress party.
ನಡ್ಡಾ ಅವರು ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ಅಂತಲ್ಲ, ದೇಶದಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವ ರಾಜ್ಯಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಚುನಾವಣೆ ಇರುತ್ತೋ ಆ ಸಂದರ್ಭದಲ್ಲಿ ವಾರಕ್ಕೆ ಒಂದು ವಿಸಿಟ್ ಗ್ಯಾರಂಟಿ. ನಾನು ಮೋದಿಯವರಿಗೆ ಮತ್ತು ನಡ್ಡಾ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಅಮಿತ್ ಶಾ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಒಂದು ಸಲಹೆ ಏನು ಕೊಡ್ತೀನಿ ಅಂದರೆ, ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಡೆಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಹೋಗೋದು ಬರೋದು ಎಲ್ಲ ತೊಂದರೆ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಎಲೆಕ್ಷನ್ವರೆಗೂ ಇಲ್ಲೇ ಇದ್ಬಿಡಿ ಅಂತ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಒಂದು ಸಲಹೆಯನ್ನು ಕೊಡ್ತೀನಿ. ಸಣ್ಣ ಪುಟ್ಟ ಹಕ್ಕುಪತ್ರ ಕೊಡೋಕ್ಕೂ ಅವರೇ ಬೇಕು, ಬೀದಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಓಪನ್ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೂ ಅವರೇ ಬೇಕು. ಸಣ್ಣ ಪುಟ್ಟ ಕೆಲಸಗಳಿಗೂ ಕೂಡ ಪ್ರಧಾನಮಂತ್ರಿಗಳು ಚುನಾವಣೆ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಬರ್ತಾರೆ.
The frequency of visit is what is alarming because it's elections and people's expectations. What are people's expectations when a prime minister comes? He announces a good scheme for us. He brings us some budget. Has that happened? No. The double engine government has failed Karnataka repeatedly. 25 MPs and one finance minister from Karnataka. What are we getting? Nothing. And he's coming here and it's just for elections.
He's a political tourist. PM is coming here just for elections and nothing else but elections. But he, deep down in his heart, even PM knows whatever he does here, the BJP will be thrown out of the government.
Piyush Goyal says that PM is covering 10,000 kilometers by aircraft to reach out to people.
Aircraft? Very good. Congratulations to PM for covering 10,000. What is this? Is this a joke? They think people are so naive that they will buy into whatever they say. He's traveling in aircraft or he's going on a padyatra. What is that? What is Mr. Goyal saying? This psychophancy is taking this country backwards.
Okay, we'll talk about that in just a bit. The Prime Minister didn't just attend the air show. He also met celebrities and athletes from the state, including KGF star Yash, actor Rishabh Shetty. Let's put out those pictures, and influencer Ayush Shraddha. Now, you may remember Ayush Shraddha from her spoof video on mass tech layoffs. It was a massive hit. Shraddha says the Prime Minister greeted her with her signature phrase, Ayo. Also invited to the event were cricketing legends like Anil Kumble, Srinath, and Venkatesh Prasad. Remember, we are talking about Kannada icons here. Both cricket and movies have always captured the imagination in Karnataka. So meeting these people ahead of the elections, well, it may not just be a coincidence. It could be part of a larger poll strategy, and there is absolutely nothing wrong with that. First, use the air show to capture attention, then ride on that attention to meet and greet Kannada superstars. As far as poll strategies go, it's an old one. Parties ruling at the centre have always had an advantage going into a state election. They can announce and inaugurate massive projects before the model code of conduct kicks in. Everyone does it. In fact, it's a strategy the Prime Minister has used before as well. In 2019, before the general elections, Prime Minister Modi went on an inauguration spree. Reports are saying that he launched as many as 157 projects in 30 days by making 28 trips across the country. What explained that hurry? Perhaps because 2019 was election year and the projects had to be inaugurated before the dates were announced. And why just the Prime Minister? Every political party is guilty of timing inaugurations with elections. They make use of the age-old saying about voters in this country. Their memory is very short. The question is, what can we do about it? How can we level the playing field for the party in government and the parties in opposition? Well, I guess by having a chat about it. Let me quickly go across to our guests who are joining us this evening. Thank you very much. Dr. Rangappa, BJP spokesperson. Good to have you on the show. Ashpreet Khadiyal, Congress spokesperson. Thank you very much for joining us. And Madhavan Narayan is a senior journalist. He is joining us on the broadcast as well. Ashpreet, I'm going to start with you. Is this the first time that the Prime Minister has inaugurated Aero India or attended the Aero India show? No, it isn't. Then why say he's wearing fancy dress clothes and trying to pull off a political stunt, that this is proxy campaigning?
Well, without an iota of doubt, that is what the Prime Minister has been trying to do. The only problem there is that the government has become accustomed to claiming credit for the things that it hasn't even done or hasn't even initiated. This show has been happening since 1996. It happens in Bengaluru because of the presence of the organizations that trace its origin back to Nehruvian era. We have a problem with the fact that the Bharatiya Janata Party would copy it, would either present as if, it's their own. And as a matter of fact, there are 30 other policies that have been copied off the Congress party and have been implemented by simply having their names changed. The Bharatiya Janata wanted to claim credit over that also. So one, there is a big pattern. There is a big history with the Bharatiya Janata Party.
Ashpreet, that pattern is not visible here. Ashpreet, that pattern is not visible here. I'll tell you why. I'm saying that pattern is not visible here. I'll tell you why. In his speech today at the Aero India, Did he even mention once that it is the BJP government under him that started Aero India? Has he said that? No, he hasn't said that. You are
I'll tell you
accusing
what.
him of making, making this into pulling this off as a political stunt. Has he made one political statement and said, vote for me, Karnataka, in the speech? No, he hasn't said it. He's the Prime Minister. This is a flagship show for India's defense. If he goes there and not for the first time, why politicize it?
See, I'll tell you what. One, the BJP has to do it because they don't have anything of their own to show, anything of their own to claim credit over. And number two, answering your question, Shreya, he does not have to directly say that, see, we brought this. There are things which are said in an implied fashion, things which are said indirectly. The government is smart enough to choose their words, to chain their words in a fashion that they do not get caught in that. But the fact of the matter is that the BJP also tried to claim, credit over the fact that the Prime Minister was traveling for so many thousands of kilometers over an aircraft. I mean, is this something that you claim credit over, that you're traveling on an aircraft for thousands of kilometers? You've been having, a luxurious travel. Number one, there's nothing to claim credit over that. You also wanted to try, and attempt at claiming credit on this issue as well. And number two, this is no Padyatra that you're doing.
Okay,
Number three,
Ashpreet,
this is
I've
not the
heard
first time
you.
that the BJP is trying to do this, claim credit over this.
I've heard you, but
back in the day as
I've
well, at the
heard
time
you,
of
but this is a weak
G20.
defense.
No, at the time of G20 also, they
This is
used
a weak
their,
defense.
election
I've heard
symbol.
you. This is a very
just
weak
last
defense.
Point, Shreya, just the last point, Shreya. So at the time of G20, they used the election symbol of the Bharatiya Janata Party there. Were they to represent India, or were they to represent the Bharatiya Janata Party? Or is the Bharatiya Janata Party bigger than India? Is it? They weren't bigger. They will never be bigger than India. And they should realize one thing, that before their campaigning, before their advertising, marketing, branding,
what are you telling
India
me?
comes first. India comes first. And if you really want to do something which
India
is worth claiming credit over,
he's the Prime
do it
Minister
yourself,
of India,
not
and if there is
copy
a
and paste
flagship
it.
show, Ashpreet, if there's a flagship show of India that is being held in a election-bound state, does it mean the Prime Minister will not attend just because it is an election-bound state and the opposition will have a problem with it? Anyhow, it is not for me to argue that point. It is for Dr. Rangappa to argue that point. Dr. Rangappa, the opposition is seeing red. They are saying, what is this? The Prime Minister is wearing topi and fancy dress clothes, and he's landed up in Bangalore, and he's coming every week just because it's an election year. Otherwise, he doesn't have time for Karnataka.
The Congress people are speaking like a pack of jokers. Mr.
I'm
Modi
sorry,
is the
that is
Prime
what the
Minister
BJP
of
does.
India. Listen, please
That is what the BJP does.
Please listen. They are speaking like a
Please
pack
mind
of
your
jokers
words.
because
Please mind your words. If anyone's that,
Please
you should know it the best.
Kindly listen to me, sir.
Ashpreet,
He is the Prime Minister.
No, Shreya, I'm sorry, I
Ashpreet,
mind
let
the
Dr.
usage of
Rangappa
words.
speak. We've heard the Congress's point of view. We need to
Shreya, I
hear
have
the
no
BJP's
problem
point
with,
of view as
I
well.
have no problem with him speaking. I just have a problem with the choice of words.
अच्छा बोलने दो ना Ashpreet उनको. Let him speak. Let him speak, and please don't call anyone a joker, Dr. Rangappa. चलिए, go ahead, please.
So, Mr. Prime Minister, he is the Prime Minister of India. He can go anywhere in India to inaugurate any important programs associated with the development of India. Here, the aerospace is not just a show. It means a lot of MSCs are involved, startups are involved, big companies are involved. There are thousands of opportunities for youth, 75,000 crores of MOUs to be signed. See, this is one of the most important revenue earning or employment giving program of India. So, Mr. Modi came to India. He didn't go to Chinese embassy, or he didn't go to Thailand for a holiday. So, I don't think the way the Congress is thinking is right. See, when we are doing something for the country, you need to appreciate it, politics apart.
And the Bharatiya Janata Party needs
Dr.
to
Rangappa,
stop
but a
doing
Congress leader has also
advertising,
said,
marketing and
एक
branding.
minute.
Sorry?
Okay, but Dr. Rangappa, there is one Congress leader, ek minute, Ashpreet, ek minute. Dr. Rangappa, but there is one Congress leader who has said that the Prime Minister will now even come to inaugurate a tap in Karnataka because it is election season. Let's just admit that all politicians do this. All Prime Ministers and Chief Ministers do this. When election time is round the corner, they will want to be more visible in election-bound states. This, after all, is the job of a politician if he wants to win an election. So let's just accept it.
Madam, see, there is a expectation of 75,000 crores of MOU to be signed. It is not a tap water. I think people have to grow up and think better.
Madhavan Narayan, is this childish politics is at play? I mean, it's fun. I understand that. Never a dull moment in Indian politics. But is it much ado about nothing, really? The Prime Minister will obviously go and inaugurate the Aero India show if he so wishes to. And this is not the first time he's doing it. He's not said anything political in his speech. Why Jabardasti, doing ungli and try and say, look at these guys, political stunt, fancy dress, etc., etc. They are trying to claim credit. I don't think, for instance, in this case, the Prime Minister has tried to claim credit for the Aero India show.
Yeah, let me say several things. But first, let me correct you. Both INS Vikrant and INS Vikramaditya are not made in India. They were originally of, Vikrant was made in as Hercules in UK, and Vikramaditya came from Russia, but Indian scientists have contributed a lot, engineers have contributed a lot to enrich it, upgrade it. A lot of things have happened. All credit must be going to scientists. Now, let me come to the politics of it or lack of it. First of all, the hard fact is that Prime Minister Narendra Modi is permanently on election mode, as they say. Now, the fact is that although he gave us the slogan, "One Nation, One Election," it is his luck, whether it is good or bad, is such that he has to be frequently addressing state elections, and he seems to enjoy it. But the more important point is that Mr. Modi is a master of imagery and optics, and that is what is riling Congress and other opposition parties. He does not miss an opportunity to indirectly seek votes through imagery, but you are absolutely right. He doesn't use a word. He uses the logic of imagery, and he tries to equate himself with the BJP and BJP with India, and he manages to pull it off, and that is what is upsetting Congress and other parties. Now, coming to the point that Ashpreet made, now he was accused by Mr. Rangappa of being a joker, but my accusation would be Congress lacks a sense of humor. Mr. Modi was standing on the shoulders of artists and scientists today to look tall. And actually, the fact is that the Congress was in power when the Indian Space Research Organization was founded in 1969. So instead of hitting on the facts, if to whine away and to complain shows that you're trying to be on the defensive when you should be on the offensive. And that is perhaps what makes Mr. Modi succeed even more, because Mr. Modi exudes a positive imagery, whereas those who criticize him end up following the agenda set by him. So this is politics at work, and the more competent style is of Mr. Modi. So the opposition parties have to wake up to the fact that Mr. Modi's style is grandstanding, and even if he sometimes looks like an overdoing the thing, the fact is that politics is politics. But it is equally true that I have personally covered Aero India in Bangalore as a journalist. I have attended, there are so many scientists and engineers that work in Bangalore that it's a show that Bangalore and India and Karnataka have to be proud of. And Congress needs to say, thank you, Mr. Modi, for continuing a grand tradition that has been founded by our governments in previous years. So instead of saying thank you, to complain sounds negative. So, well, that is one of the, Congress seems to be lacking in confidence and humor. That is my political observation. Now, this is not to take away the credit for the fact that Mr. Modi combines, he meets a Ayush Shraddha. I mean, come on, he meets Yash. He knows politics of
let's
imagery,
put out that picture,
left,
actually.
right, and center.
Let's put out the picture of Prime Minister Modi with Ayush Shraddha.
The simple fact is that it is equally true that Prakash Raj, who's one of the most popular actors of the Kannada screen in Karnataka and the entire South, is one of the most bitter critics of Mr. Modi. So this is also a fact of politics, and the people will decide for themselves using all sorts of inputs on who will win. Because Karnataka, the fact is that Mr. Modi needs the charisma of all the artists and the hard work of all the scientists to sound tall, and that's all politicians do that. Except that Mr. Modi excels in imagery. This is something that that's part for the course in politics. And maybe Congress needs to take a course from...
But it is something that Rahul Gandhi has also done in Bharat Jodo Yatra.
Exactly. Now,
Mr. Narayan, I'll get in Ashpreet here. Last comments. This is something that Rahul Gandhi has done in the Bharat Jodo Yatra as well.
Let me say something very interesting, Shreya. Politics is such that you like to take credit for being among the people when you're in opposition, and you like to take credit for towering above them when you're in power. So this politics is about being Chitbi Meri, Patbi Meri, and Congress has also done it. Now BJP is doing it. Now Indians, hopefully people watching the show will be aware of the fact that all parties do it, and they should discount every politician who does this and say, it is my hard work, it is your hard work, that the leaders are taking to credit for, and laugh at them and smile at them. Mr. Modi did not invent any rocket. But maybe he's guilty of making an election racket out of it. Making rackets out of rocket is politics, which everybody party
Mr. Madhavan, I'll get... Ashpreet is getting agitated. He wants to say something, but Ashpreet, exactly 20 seconds, because I'm out of time. I was making the point that Rahul Gandhi has done exactly the same thing. He has done this 100+ day yatra. So many celebrities have come into that yatra. Should we say that he's done this yatra only because of the election in 2024?
First, let me answer your question. The Bharatiya Janata Party spokesperson said that this is not just a show. Many more benefits there are going to be. Investment is going to come and this and that. Great. So out of a little bit of a morality, the Bharatiya Janata Party could have said, thanks to the Congress Party, thanks to their initiatives back in the day, today this could happen again. Number two, you did not say that. Number two, 10% of the focus you put into advertising, marketing, branding, if you were to put that into development and working and welfare, I think India's face would change. And, the unemployment would be done away with, the inflation would be done away with, the rank we are at Hunger Index or the Press Freedom Index.
But are you trying
India
to
would
tell
be a
me...
different country altogether. Last but not the least.
Ashpreet, today all the Congress's arguments haven't held.
No, Shreya,
Ashpreet, today all of the Congress's arguments have not held. Are you trying to tell me, look, I'm not here to bat for the BJP or Congress, you know that. I'm not here to bat for the BJP or Congress, you know that. But every time a BJP politician goes to IIM or IIT, is he expected to say before he starts his speech, I need to thank Prime Minister Nehru and the Congress for this great institution they have built? Nahi, aise kaam nahi chalta. Anyway, we'll leave it there for the moment. No, I'm out of time.
If it is something that is benefiting
why not?
India,
What do you mean, why not?
Why not? Last but not the least, you talked about Mr. Gandhi. Mr. Gandhi did not once during the Bharat Jodo Yatra.
Anyway, we let it go.
Something that the Bharatiya Janata Party
we let it go.
Let's be clear on
that.
that.
The politics over the Prime Minister's visit to Aero India, I mean, it was unnecessary and it was juvenile. We leave it there for the moment. Thank you very much, because I do have to play out this report. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us. There's